Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Women have had a great series of victories of late. Various sports have banned men from competing directly against women, the sporting bodies in question being the likes of rugby, swimming, and cycling, to name a few. There is one sporting body that runs the Triathlon that has said that actually no, men can compete against women. They've said it's fair. It obviously isn't. Because as any idiot knows, whatever you've done to your body subsequently, you're still a man. You have had all the advantages of male puberty, and therefore you will always outcompete a woman. But this sporting body has made some arbitrary rules based on some arbitrary numbers from some minor chemical reactions within a body, and says, no, it's fine for a man to compete against a woman. It's madness. We'll take a look at it. But any woman who competes in the triathlon may as well just give up now. Here's the article. So, World Triathlon allow men to keep competing in female category. Restrictions will apply to compete internationally. Oh good, they're putting restrictions on the men. But they're still allowing men to compete against women. Stance is at odds with decisions in swimming and rugby league and many other sports. So World Triathlon has voted to allow men to keep competing in the female category in a ruling which goes notably against recent decisions from the governing bodies of, I'm just going to say, many sports. However, under World Triathlon's new rules, men will face greater restrictions before gaining approval to compete internationally, including having to lower their testosterone levels for 2 years rather than 1, as is the case now. They must also wait for at least 4 years after transitioning if they have previously competed as a male in any sporting competition rather than 1. Now, it doesn't matter. Testosterone is nothing to do with it. Testosterone is what they pick. And there's a reason they pick testosterone is because that can be changed. Oh yes, we can get that. We can change the level of testosterone and that'll make you a woman. No, it won't. Never in a million years will it make you a woman, because you will never, ever, ever be a woman, because you are a man. And that's it. Now, reducing your testosterone, fine, but that doesn't reduce your muscle strength, your muscle density, your twitch response. It doesn't reduce your bone density. It doesn't reduce the oxygen uptake. It doesn't reduce your oxygen retention. It doesn't reduce male aggression. It doesn't reduce performance. In fact, there's an awful lot of things it doesn't do. But they choose. They choose this one tiny, unimportant metric, because otherwise they couldn't possibly allow men to compete against women, and then the mentally ill will be going, oh, but you're an istonophobe. It's easily sorted. You split the sport into two and you say, rather than men and women, you go XX chromosome, XY chromosome. Sorted. Then it doesn't matter when a man puts on a dress and lippy and whatever. It doesn't matter. He's an XY. He competes over there. End of story. Anyway, the World Triathlon, which is closely linked with the International Olympic Committee, said in a statement that its new policy aimed to balance inclusion with fairness. Well, yeah, inclusion for men to be included as women, and fairness, but only for men. Because what they're saying is it's unfair for these men who aren't very good at their sport to have to compete with other men who are better. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these men who are not very good at their sport and allow them to compete with women, because then they can beat the women because they have all those natural advantages I've discussed. So that's where the fairness comes in. It's unfair to expect these useless people to compete against men. But they are just good enough to beat women. Yeah. However, it is likely to face strong opposition from campaign groups for women's sport, who have pointed out the science that overwhelmingly shows that men retain significant advantages in speed, strength, lung capacity and endurance, even after testosterone is reduced. World Triathlon's new policy, which will be introduced next month, states to compete in the female category in an elite or age group triathlon competition, a transgender athlete must demonstrate that the concentration of testosterone in the athlete's serum has been less than 0.2 nanomole per litre continuously for a period of at least 24 months. Also, at least 48 months must have elapsed since the transgender athlete has competed as a male in any sporting competition. So let's round that there, because what this is basically saying is we cannot make a rule based on any metric that cannot be changed. So we're not going to do a rule on chromosomal. We're not going to do a rule on gender, on sexual organs. We're not going to do a rule on muscle density. We're not going to do a rule on anything that would actually binarily split a man from a woman. What we're going to do is pick on the one tiny metric that we can control, and that's it. Because they don't want to look like islamophobes. They are scared, they are craven, and they are wrong. Now, no one is saying that transgender athletes can't compete. Sure, go compete. But you just can't compete against women. Go compete against men. And if that's not good enough for you, form your own group. You know, form a group, the triathlon, for people who aren't very good at triathlon. There you go. Problem sorted. I'll come up. So, ladies, I mean, ultimately it's going to be up to you. You've worked hard. You've put the hours in. My God, the commitment you need to do a triathlon. It is frighteningly hard. I know that. I accept that. But why should you do that? Why should you put yourself out, work hard, give up evenings, weekends, a lot of family life, push yourself to get to that level of fitness, that ability, it's just mind-blowing how fit you people are. But why push yourself to do that when you know that you can't win because the person standing next to you is a man? So how do you sort it? Easy. I guarantee you will win. You won't win the first race. You won't win the second race. But by the third race, the ladies will have won. Because what you do is you stand there at the start, and I think it's swimming first, you stand there by the water's edge, the starter, I don't know how he starts it, bang, whatever. Now, I don't know if you dive in or if you're in the water, whatever your starting procedure is. As soon as he or she starts you, climb out of the water, or just, if you're not in the water, turn to your right, pick up your bag and walk away. And only let the men compete in the women's triathlon. It might happen once. Well, it will happen once because they won't be expecting it. It might happen a second time. But the third race, there'll be no men there. They will have changed that rule after the third race, or by the third race. And the reason is sponsorship, commitment. They want the power of running a sports governing body. And if they're running ladies triathlon, it's a very hard thing to do if there's no ladies. So that's how you win. And one has to ask why these weird people really just want to compete against women. Anyway, finish there. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. Tell the Triathlon World Council to go boil their head. And goodbye.